So if you're learning a new skill, especially a language like English,
Mm,
you probably know the grammar, you've got the vocabulary lists down.
you've done the homework.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the biggest wall you hit, it isn't, a lack of knowledge, it's that paralysis,
Yeah.
the fear.
Oh, yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
split-second moment where you have to actually open your mouth and speak to another person, it's terrifying.
That fear. I mean, linguists call it the affective filter, but really it's just the enemy of fluency. The knowledge is all there. It's in your brain.
Right.
But the confidence to actually use it, in real time when you're under pressure, that's a whole different thing. And our sources today, they really get that.
So today our mission isn't about uh, conjugating verbs or anything like that. We went looking for material that promises, and they use these exact words, very simple, very easy tips for talking to anyone.
Our roadmap?
A roadmap, exactly. We're trying to cut through all the academic stuff and just deliver
Yeah.
the blueprint. A 7-step blueprint for conversational confidence.
Yeah, and we've really synthesized this into simple building blocks, one after the other. The whole focus shifts from being perfect and sounding like a textbook to just mastering the art of connecting with someone. It's less about language analysis and more about, I guess, social engineering for just having a good chat.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We're going to distill these steps right now. We'll look at the why behind each one, from that first silent approach all the way to, keeping the conversation going for a couple of minutes. The goal here is that you walk away from this deep dive with real actionable tools, things you can use today to start building that confidence muscle.
Hmm. All right, let's start at the very, very beginning, the foundation. We're calling this one the power of the silent first step.
This is tip number 1, and it's so simple, it's almost easy to dismiss. It's the smile.
The smile.
Seems almost childishly simple,
Right.
right? But the sources all confirm it is this critical nonverbal foundation. It has to happen before you even think about saying a word. Okay, so I want to push back on that a little. Because be polite, smile is common advice. Why is it a non-negotiable step 0 here? What's the mechanism?
It's about the psychological effect on both people. For you, the learner, it externalizes a positive feeling. It takes the pressure off your brain to find the perfect first word.
So you're doing something before you have to say something.
Exactly. And for the person you're approaching, a smile it's universal. The source material is very clear on this. It works in any country. It sends one single clear message. I am friendly. I'm not a threat.
You're basically lowering their defenses so that when the words do come out, and maybe they're a little bit, slow or accented, the other person is already primed to be receptive.
Precisely. If you walk up to someone with a nervous look on your face, they're already on edge. A smile just cancels all of that out. It really does mean hello everywhere, and it's your best tool for managing that initial burst of anxiety.
Okay, so we've managed that. We've signaled I'm friendly. Now we have to actually make a sound. That brings us to tip 2, simple greetings.
Right. Now we move to the verbal part. And the classic, the safest, the most universally understood choice is hello.
Hello. Can't go wrong.
You really can't. It's polite, it's friendly, it's the perfect follow-up to the smile. But we should probably dig into the nuances here because this is a deep dive after all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because hello is safe, but sometimes it can feel a little stiff, a little formal. How do you know when to use something else?
And that's a crucial distinction for sounding natural. Hello is great for, say, a business meeting or talking to someone older, but our sources point out that you should get comfortable with hi very quickly.
Right.
Hi is, and I'm quoting here, a little more casual, more relaxed. For day-to-day life, talking to a barista, a classmate, hi is often the default. It just signals a kind of native-like ease.
It's a warmth thing, isn't it? A simple hi just feels a little warmer, a little more approachable than a full hello.
It does. And then we get to the next level of complexity, which is the time-sensitive greetings. This is where English can be a little tricky with its rules.
Okay, let's lay these out clearly for everyone listening. You've got good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Yeah.
All of them are for saying hello.
Right.
But the mistake, the one every learner makes, is when it gets dark outside.
Yes. This is the big one. The sources draw a very, very bright line between good evening and good night.
So break it down.
Good evening is only for saying hello at night. You arrive at a dinner party at 8 p.m., you say good evening, but good night is only for saying goodbye when you're leaving or going to bed.
So if I show up at that party and say good night,
Everyone's going to think you're leaving immediately. It's a really common slip up because in a lot of other languages, the same phrase works for both.
right.
Getting that one little distinction right, it instantly makes you sound like you have a much better handle on the social flow of English. It shows you get the rhythm, not just the words.
Okay, so our foundation is set.
Uh-huh.
Step 1, smile to signal you're friendly. Step 2, choose your greeting, hello or hi for formality, and then master that good evening versus good night rule.
So now that you've broken that initial barrier, you've got some positive energy going. We move into the actual conversation. This is about making it a two-way street.
Which brings us to tip number 3, introducing yourself. For someone who is nervous, we have to make this a simple, repeatable sequence. No improvisation needed.
The sequence is key. You've done the smile, you've done the greeting. Now you just introduce yourself, simply. My name is Name.
Easy enough. You know your own name.
It's very low stress, you've practiced it, but the most important part, the thing that makes the conversation continue, is what you do immediately after.
You have to pass the ball back.
Yeah.
You can't just drop your name and then silence.
Exactly. You must show interest in them. So right after you give your name, you ask, what is your name? That simple act of giving and then asking is what turns a statement into a real dialogue.
Let's look at the sample conversation from the source, because it really shows how simple this is. It takes this huge, scary idea of a conversation and boils it down. Hello, my name is Johnny. What is your name? And the other person says, my name is Sarah. Nice to meet you.
And in that tiny little exchange, maybe 10 seconds, you've successfully used 4 of these building blocks. Greeting, giving your name, asking for their name, and then a polite closing.
And it creates this little feedback loop of confidence. You realize, oh, I just had a successful conversation. It only took 4 lines.
And let's not skip over that nice to meet you. That phrase is so important. It confirms the connection. It says, this introduction was successful and I value it. If you can nail that 5-line exchange, you've honestly beaten about 80% of the fear.
So once we have names, the next natural step is tip number 4, the universal check-in, the how are you exchange.
Yeah, people ask this all the time in English, and, sometimes they don't really want a 10-minute summary of your health.
Right, it's a social ritual.
It is. It's a ritual. It's a way to confirm that everything is okay before you move on.
So the classic answer everyone learns is, I am fine, thank you. But let's talk about that. In a lot of casual English, especially in the U.S., doesn't fine sound a little flat?
That's a fantastic point, and one the deep dive really needs to hit on. I am fine, thank you, is perfectly correct. It's safe. But you're right, fine can sometimes mean just okay, or even a little bit not okay.
So what are better options?
The source material gives a few that just inject more positive energy. Things like, I am good, or even a really enthusiastic, I am great.
So by choosing I am good, you're not just answering the question, you're contributing to that positive energy we started with the smile.
You are. You're making the other person feel better about the interaction. Great makes them feel great. Fine makes them think, oh, okay.
And then, the most important part, you have to ask back, but you need an efficient way to do it.
Yes, this is about reducing the cognitive load. You don't want to have to think about forming the whole sentence and how are you all over again, especially if you're nervous.
So what's the shortcut?
The polite, easy shortcut is just, and you.
And you.
2 words.
2 words. Or maybe, how about you? But honestly, and you is faster. It's punchier. It does the job perfectly. It shows you're engaged, you're reciprocating, and you're not getting bogged down in the grammar.
So looking at these first 4 blocks, we've basically managed the entire meet and greet. Smile, greeting, name swap, and the how are you check-in. It's a solid, polite foundation. And now we've reached the point where I think most learners just freeze. The scripts are done. The polite stuff is over. How do you go from that predictable structure to an actual spontaneous conversation? This is where it gets really interesting. This is tip 5.
The strategy here is, I think, brilliant because it plays to the learner's biggest strength.
Yeah.
They are the world's leading expert on themselves.
Okay.
You keep the conversation going by talking about things you like. It keeps the topic safe, personal, and easy because you already have all the information and vocabulary you need.
That's a great point. You're lowering what they call the affective filter, that psychological barrier, because you're not searching for new information. You're just reporting on your own preferences. Exactly. The source material says the possibilities are endless, but the key is to keep it simple. We're not talking about, geopolitical strategy here.
No, we're talking about things like food, colors, animals, movies, sports. And the source is very direct.
Yeah.
Simple words are the best. You don't need big, difficult words. The goal is connection, not complexity.
And there's a specific technique for this, a structure that keeps the conversation moving. You called it the hook and switch.
Yeah, let's break down the parts of that for everyone.
Okay, part one is the hook. It's a simple statement of preference. You just say what you like. I like pizza. Easy to say, easy to understand.
Part two, the direct question. You immediately toss the conversational ball back to them. Do you like pizza?
Yeah.
Now the pressure is on them, and you get a moment to listen and think.
And part three is the most important for keeping the flow. It's the contingency switch. If they say no, the conversation doesn't die.
Right.
You immediately pivot, but you stay in the same category. If they don't like pizza, you ask, oh, okay, what food do you like? You're still on the hunt for that common ground.
That is such a robust little formula. It works no matter what they say. Let's use the food example from the source to see it in action.
Okay, so you say the hook. I like pizza. Do you like pizza? If they say yes, great. You can go deeper with another question like, what's your favorite kind?
And suddenly you're not just talking about pizza, you're having a real exchange.
Right.
Are you a pepperoni person or a veggie pizza person? You're learning something real about them.
You're exchanging genuine information. That's where the satisfaction in a conversation comes from. Let's try the animal one.
Okay, I like dogs. Do you like dogs?
And if they say, yes, this is a gold mine, they might say, I do. I have a small dog. His name is Max.
Okay, let's pause on that. Max the dog. That is a concrete detail, a little story. You just learned a personal fact about them using super, super simple English.
Yes, it just proves the whole point. You don't need academic words to build a real connection. I mean, you just met Max.
And it works for anything simple. The color example. My favorite color is blue. What is your favorite color? They say, it's green. Boom. Successful exchange. You've learned something.
You have a new piece of data. And if you're feeling brave, you can ask why, but you don't have to. Just establishing that preference is a win.
So the big takeaway here is that you use your own comfort zone, what you like, as a launch pad. Simple words, simple topics, but they lead to powerful personal connections. Okay, so we've covered the what to say, the technical side. Now we have to get into the psychology of it all, the how to feel while you're saying it. And these next two tips are, I think, the most important ones for long-term success.
Yeah, this brings up the big one. We have to talk about the number one source of all this anxiety. That's tip number 6. The fear of making mistakes.
What if I say a word wrong? What if my grammar is bad?
The source material could not be clearer on this. The answer is, it is 100% okay to make mistakes.
And why is that absolute permission so important for a learner to hear?
Because the goal is not perfection. The goal is communication. We have to shift the whole mindset. And the research gives this incredibly powerful reason. Even native English speakers make mistakes. All the time.
That's true.
They mispronounce things, they use the wrong word, their grammar gets messy. So the pressure that learners put on themselves to be perfect is just, it's unrealistic and unnecessary.
So we have to completely reframe what a mistake even is. It's not a failure.
A mistake is not a wall, it's a signpost. It is proof that you are trying. It's just part of the deal. The source uses the analogy of learning to ride a bike. You're going to fall. You don't just throw the bike away.
Yeah.
You get back on.
So what's the strategy in the moment? If you realize you've made a mistake, do you stop and correct yourself and break the flow? Or do you just power through?
You prioritize the flow. You prioritize the positive energy. If it's a small mistake and they still understood you, just let it go. Keep going. The goal is being understood. That's it.
A small grammar mistake doesn't break the connection.
Not at all. A smile and a hello and I like pizza connects people. A wrong verb tense doesn't break that connection. You have to be brave and realize that the fact you're even talking is the victory.
That's a great mindset. Okay, that sets us up for the confidence muscle. Now let's talk about tip number 7, which is kind of the other half of the coin. It's not about talking, it's about active listening.
A good conversation is a 50-50 split, 50% talking, 50% listening. If you're just sitting there planning your next perfect sentence, you're not actually listening. And then it's not a conversation anymore.
It's a monologue.
Exactly. But active listening is also, and this is great for the learner, it's a little bit selfish. It gives you a break.
Right, it gives your brain time to catch up.
It does. It makes the other person feel heard, so they want to talk more.
What?
Which is great. And it gives you precious seconds to think about what you're going to say next without that pressure to respond instantly.
So we need some easy, low-effort ways to show we're listening. What are they?
The source gives 3 really simple, high-impact techniques. 1, look at them. Pay attention to their face. It shows respect.
Simple enough.
2, nod your head. Nodding is this incredibly powerful, universal signal that says, I'm with you, I understand, keep going.
And 3.
3 is using what we can call conversational lubricants.
Okay.
These are just small sounds and words that show you're tracking. Things like, mm-hmm, oh, wow, oh, really?
Okay, let's try it.
Yeah.
So if I say to you, I really like to watch movies on the weekend.
A good active listener would just go, oh, wow, or mm-hmm. That tiny little sound shows me you're engaged, and it encourages me to say more. It creates this circle of positive energy.
And their enthusiasm, because they feel heard, feeds back into your confidence. It makes you want to try the other tips.
It keeps the whole engine running. It really does.
Okay, so for the final piece here, let's talk about putting it all into practice. We have the 7 steps, but how do we actually start doing it?
The directive is very clear. Start small and be friendly. You have to completely redefine what success looks like. It is not a 2-hour philosophical debate on your first day.
You have to celebrate the small wins.
A 2-minute conversation is a huge success. Just saying hello and doing the name exchange with the person at the coffee shop, that is a massive victory. You have to be proud of that.
So what are the mechanics of building this confidence muscle, as the source calls it?
Well, like any muscle, if you don't use it, it gets weaker. So you have to go to the confidence gym. And the great news is the confidence gym is everywhere. The supermarket, the park, the bus stop.
Any place with quick, low-stakes interactions.
Exactly. A workout in the confidence gym might just be making eye contact, smiling, and saying hi to one person at the bus stop. That's it. You did a whelp. Tomorrow, maybe you try asking them how they are. You scale it up slowly.
And just knowing that you are not alone, that every single person learning a new language feels this way. That in itself is empowering.
It is. With these 7 blocks, the smile, the right greeting, the name exchange, the how are you, talking about likes, embracing mistakes, and active listening, you are fully equipped. You have the manual. You can turn that anxiety into a real connection. And if we just zoom out for a second to the bigger picture, English, or really any language, it's not some academic subject to be perfected. It's a tool. It's a tool for connecting with people.
Right.
And these 7 steps, they're just the user manual for that tool. They show you how to use it effectively, how to use it bravely. It's all about that positive energy loop. Smile, listen, share, connect.
We've laid out the whole recipe. Start silent with a smile, use simple greetings, exchange names and pleasantries, talk about things you like, and maybe most importantly, know that making a mistake just means you're in the game, you're participating.
Exactly. Every little bit of small talk is a win, and the confidence gym is always open.
So here is the final thought for you to take away. We've given you 7 tools, but you only need 2 to start. Your task this week is to find one of those low-stakes gym locations. Maybe it's the elevator at work. Maybe it's the checkout line at the store.
Mm-hmm.
And your only goal is to use the first 2 building blocks. A real smile and a simple, genuine greeting. Hi. That's it. What small victory are you going to celebrate this week? Go out there, start building that muscle, and don't worry about the grammar.
You have everything you need to start.
That was the deep dive.